Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. Ali Moreno and Gab Marcotti with us. A lot of talk, obviously, about the Champions League final, what we saw today with Bayern's win over Lyon. Gab, is Coutinho's Champions League performances enough for Bayern to extend his loan or Barca to keep him?
No, I don't think they're going to extend his loan. He's extremely expensive. If you factor in his wages plus the loan fee, it's approaching 20 million. Bayern would need to go and get some sort of massive discount on that to justify it, because he's simply not producing to the level of his wages. In fact, he's not producing much at all. He's not starting for them anymore, and frankly, you know, he'd just be an extra body in there. So I think he's going back to Barcelona, and you know, we'll try to relaunch his career there.
There's lots of rumours on Twitter, some true, some not. Gab, can you confirm or deny? This isn't about you, by the way. I've made that sound a lot more seedy than it maybe was. Coutinho, Barcelona. If he wins the Champions League at Bayern Munich, Barcelona have to pay Liverpool 5 million. Is there any truth to that? Do you know?
I think I read somewhere that was a myth, but it's not true. But I honestly wouldn't know. I was not privy to his contract and the add-ons in there. I think the add-ons were based on sort of the minutes and the games he plays for Barcelona and stuff like that. I do not believe that is one of them.
We'll just say it's true anyway. There we are. Gab. There you are.
Why did you ask a question then?
Well, because I thought it might be. No, it's funnier if it's true. Gab, at this point, which team is most likely to sign Koulibaly? Do Manchester City still need him after signing Ake?
I think Manchester City definitely want another central defender beyond Nathan Ake. Napoli, from their perspective, you know, they've gotten in the frame of mind where they'll keep him, where they know that he's older. But equally, if the right price comes along, they're going to sell. And I think the way they feel is, given the valuation they have on him, they're not going to let him go for a cut price. So I think it would really only be City or United that could come up with the money to do it. So, you know, if City want him, he's theirs basically, or United, the same thing. Otherwise, he's very happy to stay at Napoli.
Gab, oh, no questions for you, Alec. Gab, does Bayern's high defence line give the edge to PSG, considering they have Mbappe, Neymar, and Di Maria?
Oh, I love this question because it's something that we talked about in the Gab and Jules show as well. I kind of think it doesn't give them the edge in the game, because I think top to bottom Bayern still have better players, but I think it is an issue. And you know, one of the things, and you saw it against Lyon as well, Lyon with those early chances, in part because of the high line and the speed of their strikers, but also because it's a very straight line that always plays the offside. They're not very reactive. You don't have necessarily that one guy dropping back. You know, Davies and Kimmich are often further up the pitch, which is understandable, and Davies has the recovery speed. But yeah, it doesn't take much to you know, to go and break that down if you've got speedy strikers and you've got somebody who can deliver clean balls. So I think it's something that Flick is going to have to seriously think about in this game, because you know, if they gave up chances against Lyon because of it, you can imagine against Mbappe and better deliveries.
Gab, given now that French football is clearly superior to Italian football, shouldn't it be the Jules and Gab podcast or the Jules and Gab show?
Well, my position there isn't down to Italian football, and his position there isn't down to French football, and we're going alphabetically anyway.
How convenient.
And also, more importantly, we've been promised our very own Gab and Jules show branded coffee mugs. And given the vast expense involved in those, I don't think the company would approve coming up with entirely new ones branded Jules and Gab.
Oh, no.
It's too much of a sunk cost.
Ali, let's talk about this high line. Obviously, Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria. It's a dream for them.
it is, so long as they're not forced to defend because of the speed of Alphonso Davies and Kimmich getting himself to the attack and the mismatches that you're going to have through the midfield if you don't drop numbers into that area if you're PSG. And so I think for Bayern Munich, what they think of is, all right, we don't have a problem with playing a high line. Our problem is going to be if we have Kimmich and Davies already pushed up and we're turning the ball over in a bad area. And now Mbappe is going in behind, and whoever he's getting in behind, Davies won't have quite the recovery speed to get there because he's already committed himself 40 yards forward. Now, if indeed it is a high line and it's just the back four sitting there, they trust that Davies is going to get to anything that goes over his head. So I don't think they have an issue with that as much as if Kimmich and Davies are already pushed up, then the concern is what happens if we lose the ball in a bad area. And that's where PSG can take advantage of it. And that's where Mbappe, if he decides to, you know what, I'm not going to track back Alphonso Davies. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to trust that we're going to be able to regain possession. This is when I'm going to be most dangerous. A through ball is going to put me in a position where I'm in a one-on-one situation. And I like to think that Kylian Mbappe is better than Toko Ekambi, and he will have the sufficient talent to put the ball away. And if that's the case, then PSG, yes, they do have the advantage with that high line.
Right, let's completely switch gears.
And that's just the one point just about that also with Bayern is Bayern don't have to play the high line and go and press Paris Saint-Germain high. I mean, one of the things that makes them so good, and we've seen this not often, but we certainly saw it when they played Borussia Dortmund after the restart. They can also play a deeper line and say, you know what, we're not going to go and win the ball in the final third. We're happy to win the ball deeper and play out from the back. You know, we've got players who can do that, whether it's Thiago Alcantara or Kimmich or whatever. So Bayern can beat you in different ways, and they can defend in different ways.
Right, now for something completely different. Since we have an Eagles and Cowboys fans on today, any way too early Super Bowl picks for this year? By the way, who's your team, Dan? Please don't tell me it's the Patriots. Yuck. My team is the Chicago Bears, because in the 80s, on Channel 4 in England, which is a free-to-air kind of terrestrial channel, they would show American football, and Chicago Bears were great then. Peyton Manning, Steve McMahon, the Fridge, and those sort of people. So that's where the allegiance to the Bears comes from.
You mean Walter Payton?
That's
Walter
what I said,
Payton.
Walter Payton. Yes. Oh, Dan, to be fair, my NFL knowledge probably about on par with my soccer knowledge there, so that's fair. Okay, so boys, way too early Super Bowl picks. Ali?
Well, sure, I'll take my Cowboys. I take them every year, and I think they're going to be great. And then we're sold on Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott and the talent that we have in the offense. And this defense is going to run all over the place, and this scheme and the 4-3 and this, whatever, all this nonsense. I'm going to trust my Cowboys because I'm a fan, and that's it. And this is what fans do. They believe in something that is not there. So, but I'm going to support my team, and I'm going to hope that they have a great season.
Gab?
I'm also very much just a fan. I obsess over only one team. We've brought in a lot of speed this year at wide receiver through the draft. We also brought in a backup quarterback that I'm not sure we necessarily needed, but he has a cool name, Jalen Hurts.
Oh my God, this is so dull. Cool. I don't care about any of this.
Hurts is a very cool name.
Oh my goodness. I thought
it's like a verb as well. No.
I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Whatever, we'll finish above the Cowboys.
I like
That's
Patrick
fine.
Mahomes. He's better than Peyton Manning. Okay, final one. Gab.
What about
Peyton
Walter
Manning's
Payton?
retired, but whatever.
I know that. It was a joke. He's on every car insurance commercial here. Every time. There he is. Okay. Gab. Did I say Steve McMahon or Jim McMahon? But I'm going back to... Anyway, Gab, Thiago had an extraordinary game, completing 94 passes with over 90% accuracy. Why are Liverpool hesitating to buy him at a bargain price? And why are no other clubs fighting for his signature?
So I think he's either 29 or is turning 29. 40 million for a guy who's got 1 year left on his contract is not necessarily that much of a bargain price. And I think he makes sense for Liverpool. I think Liverpool are interested. I don't know if they're going to be interested at that price because he's also going to command a big wage. I think the question that you have to ask with Thiago Alcantara is, given the way Liverpool play, given the midfielders that they have, you know, can he run around with the same intensity as physicality as an Oxlade-Chamberlain or Wijnaldum or Jordan Henderson? And how important is that to Jurgen Klopp? I think in certain games that's important. In other games, I think he would be a welcome addition because, you know, when it comes to creativity, when you look at this Liverpool team, you get some from Firmino, you get a lot from Alexander-Arnold, but you don't necessarily have that guy who can go and unpick opposing defenses with his passing. So the question is, are you going to go and change everything for a guy who actually will cost you a lot of money? 40 million for a 29-year-old with 1 year left of his contract is by no means cheap in this market. So I think they may look at him and they may see if they can get perhaps a better deal.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.